Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 45th and 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
I know what the fuck this song is. Don't murder me. This sounds like a really horrible fever dream. I wonder if they...
It's crazy.
Did they create that with AI? Not 100% sure that they didn't.
Never been anything like this. You know, you say, let's go to North Carolina. We get this great crowd. Outside, you have people. It's crazy. We're having a great time. And you know, these ladies right here, they've been to, I think, over 200 rallies, but I'm not going to say it. And this time I made it easy because they come from North Carolina. They didn't have to travel. Today they traveled about a half an hour, right? Isn't that nice? Instead of travel, beautiful. Well, I'm thrilled to be back in this tonight to celebrate 11 incredible months. It's been the most successful first year of any.
I wonder why the White House has turned the comments off. That's kind of wild, if you think about it. What up, Shash?
Any president in the history of our country. We're in this together. Since my inauguration, we've created more than 53,000 North Carolina jobs, including 8,000 North.
From India. I presume so, based on your name. I know one Shash. From India. Literally almost the same name. Have they created that many jobs in North Carolina, though?
North Carolina jobs, including 8,000 North
what up?
Carolina.
Ishing 8087 again.
More than
What's up? How you doing?
150,000 North Carolina residents have been lifted off of food stamps. They're very happy about that. And after your horrible hurricane, which produced more water damage than any hurricane in history, the Democrats let you...
That lady in the back there looks kind of terrified. Good, bro, how you... Well, it was a good Saturday. We went with my older daughter to do some Christmas shopping. So we spent, like, majority of the day with my older daughter doing Christmas shopping. So that's fun. I'm not a huge fan of shopping in general, but I'll gladly spend time with my daughter. Will you be my friend? I'm a 17, but no friends. No, probably not. Sorry. Biggest hurricane, the greatest hurricane ever in the history of the world. I wonder if that number Trump gave is correct. You know Kurt Cobain? I do know Kurt Cobain. Ex-singer Nirvana had an explosive exit from the from the band. Explosive exit. You could say mind-blowing.
Down.
It's been so many years since that, like, I can make jokes about Kurt Cobain, so.
They really did. Remember, they wouldn't do anything. Remember?
If Trump mouth moves, remember that he's lying.
You had to wait till January 20th when I took office that we really knocked the hell out of it. Remember? As soon as I took office.
I know you like Smells Like Teen Spirit. No. I know you're trying to make some sort of a PDF joke, which is kind of weird, to be fair, to be the first thing you wrote in the chat. But no, like, I've never liked Nirvana. Never. Ban him. I don't know, let him try. He's just trying to rage bait. I think Nirvana is subpar. Like, the music is nothing special. The only technical, like, member of the band is Dave Grohl. And that's about it. The lyrics were kind of boring as well. You're talking to a musician, so I do know quite a lot about Nirvana. Of course, I read the book about... Foo Fighters is a good band, though.
I got in on January 20th, and first thing I did was made North Carolina phone calls, and we did a hell of a job.
I like rage baiting on religious channel who keeps preaching. Oh, yeah.
You'd still be sitting in the mud if I didn't get elected. You would be. People were sitting in the mud. But I helped rebuild your state, and I didn't get any help from the Democrats. Not your governor, not your man that's running, by the way, for Senate against Michael Whatley, who's phenomenal. Michael Whatley is incredible. Your previous governor was a disaster.
I wonder what this guy in the back row is thinking. This guy here. This, like, he's unhappy about something. Constipated? Could be. Can't see? Might be. Or maybe he's drunk, that's also. After all, we're in North Carolina, so.
He's also a radical left person, by the way. He's radical left, you don't want him.
I'm concerned that the face doesn't change at all.
He doesn't represent you. And look at the crime. Look at what's going on with all the crime here. The slitting throats and stuff. I never saw that with you. Now all of a sudden that's what we see. You got to get Michael Whatley. It's going to be so important.
Okay, we need some fact checking. So, is slitting throats a thing in North Carolina so much so that you can say that it's happening there all the time?
He was so great. Don't forget, I took Michael and I put him as the head of the party because he did so great. We won the state all 3 times, and it was like a rock. He didn't allow cheating in the second time.
He looks high. I don't think he is.
I watched all these states boom.
I mean, look at this. But most likely part of the paid audience. He just wants to get paid and get the fuck out of there. Oh, yeah. Society is too emotionally involved trying to read things that aren't there. No, not everything is a conspiracy. What the fuck are you talking about? Larry, you need to give a bit of, like, noble person of peace. Who? Trump? That's an interesting take. Yeah,
boom, we're leading. People went to sleep, it was over. Then they dropped ballots, they cheated like hell.
No proof of any cheating in elections. So, again. World Wrestling Federation. What about WWF? Stone Cold Steve Austin? The Rock?
The only good thing is this is a far better term than it would have been had I done it the more traditional way. It really is. It's a more powerful term. It's a more powerful term, and the biggest news of all is yesterday it was announced that inflation is...
Example, he looks high. Example, the guy in the background must think of... What? Why is there something wrong about just making a lighthearted joke? Larry, you need to fucking calm down a bit. Is that the Simpson character? That is the Simpson character, yeah.
Is far lower than anybody expected. I told you.
Nobody said it's a conspiracy theory. We just said that it's really, especially because it's literally next to Trump's head, and his facial features are the same all the time.
Every one of the 61 forecasts from the so-called geniuses, the experts with the genius.
I think, okay, if we want to talk about conspiracy theories, I think this guy is this guy's father. Oh, you can't see it in the vertical view. Let me move that a bit. Look at this. This person
Not them.
and this person are probably related. There you go. Now we got some conspiracy theories going on.
We have the lowest core inflation since March of 2021, and we're just getting started. It's unbelievable. And that's despite taking in billions and billions and billions, hundreds of billions.
Trump knows that most people in the USA vote emotionally. He used this emotion in election, like election rigging, illegal immigrants, Epstein Files, etc. These things are affect anyone very little. AMD matters how. And matters how. Like, what, Larry, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, we're having a conversation. But these things create big headlines. He uses it effectively. Oh yeah, 100%.
Billions of dollars in tariffs. Remember they said, oh, the tariffs will cause inflation. Just came out with the best inflation report we've had in years.
What does Larry want? Nobody knows. Like, I'm really trying to figure out what Larry's issue is.
It's a cash too. In fact, 1776, right? $1,776 goes to our military. You know, it was 1,775. And that was the number, you know, that was just a lump. I said, you know, if we had $1, we got 1776. These ladies are loaded with money to pay for it from North, 600%.
Oh.
2 seconds, take care of it.
Now we get the
Think of it
percentages
for
again.
$1 more. They said, I can't believe we didn't think of that. Only hours ago, I left a meeting at the White House where we cut the cost of prescription drugs by 300, 400, 500.
There you go, Larry. Now I can give you a bit of a topic. There is no such thing as reducing the price of drugs and medication by 400, 500, and 600%. What Trump says here is a complete fucking lie. Unless everybody's getting paid by the pharmaceutical companies, and that's not. There you go. Now we have a thing to have a conversation, Larry. If a person says that they're reducing the price of pharmaceutical products by 400, 500, 600, yesterday he said 700 or even more percent. That guy is delusional. Sundowning, probably.
And even 600%. And I'm doing what no politician of either party has ever done before, standing up to the special interests and demanding lower prices for the American people. This is what we're doing. You know,
I do agree with that. That's one thing that I do agree, that the pharmaceutical companies have ripped off the American citizens for too long. But saying that you're reducing the prices by 400, 500, 600, 700 or even more percent is a complete fabrication of the reality. There are drugs that cost thousands and some cancer pills. The markup is 1,000%. Larry, take a fucking math class. Take a fucking math class. You have a product. Let's say it costs $100. How much is it gonna cost? Trump's so good he pays people 6 times the cost to take their meds. That's a human question mark. You have a product that costs $100. You can fucking increase that to $1,000 or $10,000. Doesn't matter. How much is it gonna cost when Trump reduces its price by 600%? Larry, please do and indulge us with your fucking wisdom. How much is the product is gonna cost? Let's say it's $100 to make it easier for you. If you reduce the price by 600%. Please. Larry, I need help. Apparently your math is so much better than mine. I want to see how you turn this around. Larry left school in second standard. He now works as a janitor in the Mississippi Republican office. I mean, we can't really blame ordinary United States citizens for this because they have the president of the United States lying to them. And they haven't used this that much. Like, no. Former presidents, of course, have lied a lot. But not like this. I don't think you actually know what cancer prescriptions cost. I don't think you fucking understand how math works. It doesn't matter how much the cancer prescription costs. You know? It could be $100,000. Do you know how much it's gonna cost if you drop the price by 600%? Okay, I'm gonna dumb this down for you, Larry. This is like, I usually give people a chance. If you reduce the price of anything more than 100%, that means the pharmaceutical companies are fucking paying the consumers. If you can't understand that, Larry, you should shut the fuck up. Or learn something when, like, people who understand maths. It's a figure of speech, come on. You were just talking about, like, talking nonsense and emotions and what does that have to do with anything. This is the president of the United States lying to the citizens of the United States. It's not a figure of speech. Obamacare, translation, Democrat piggy bank, what the fuck, come to Minnesota, tell us about healthcare, money, what's the news? That's not even a full sentence, David Burke. Good try. You can try and rewrite that if you want to. But he does use their poor education as tool for his presidency. The problem, his presidency will affect everyone in the USA and the world. That's the problem. Fuck these guys.
It's called favored nations. And nations all over the world were screwing us. We would have prices that were 10 times higher than the prices they were charging in London. And
the reason why the prices are so high in the United States is because there isn't enough regulation when it comes to pharmaceutical companies and what the insurance companies are ranking up. So they are taking advantage of the consumers and the patients and the people needing those medications blatantly in the United States. That's why the EpiPen in the United States costs like hundreds of dollars and the EpiPen costs 50 euros, because that's a life-saving medicine according to the European Union. So those medicines can't cost that much. That's why citizens of the United States go to Canada and buy their EpiPen instead of like getting it from the States itself. But hey, this is pure free market capitalism. Everybody's on that. Companies are trying to make as much profits as they want to, right? Donald Duck, he is. Yes, he is. Literally, what Trump is now doing is forcing government, like using governmental force to force private companies to lower their markups. So Trump is affecting free market, which I'm all for. This is exactly what I'm all for. Government needs to step in when companies are abusing people who need medicine to save their lives. I am 100% all for that. But it is ironic that the Republican Party is behind this. This is usually something that a bit more left-leaning would recommend. But now that Trump is saying it, it's all of a sudden a good thing. John F. Kennedy was a great guy, and this guy got saved from that bullet. No, we don't say that. No, we don't wish anybody death. That's where I draw the line. Like, nobody deserves to get killed or assassinated. We can disagree on policies, we can disagree with a lot of things, but nobody deserves to die. Hey, Carmela, thanks for the follow. Nobody deserves to get assassinated. Nobody deserves to get shot or stabbed or killed. That's my opinion, and that's how I run these streams. It's like, we don't wish death to anybody. Even if we disagree, and even if they're a horrible person still. India has control over precisely drugs, and lobbyists have created a format of profits from their antitrust laws. Right on. I mean, that's the only way we can keep the conversation civil, you know? And it's not just like everybody in social media especially should have the same mindset. We shouldn't wish death to anyone. Abraham Lincoln back now, come on. Like all around social media, we should have the same rhetoric. We shouldn't have people celebrating people dying, you know? If Trump is truly doing good for Americans, then it's fine. Still, he's not acting immaturely. Yeah, but like...
In Paris and all over the world. Actually have a great location. You know, we've had people that look so good behind me that some of them went to Hollywood and actually did very well. You know? See, companies in the world were there. The rest of them are coming next week. But the big problem was foreign countries. They would have to take their drug and raise it from $10 to $20 to $30, maybe to $100.
Hey, gas just hit 2.54. I'll take it. What country are you in? Ireland. Also, he doesn't believe in climate change. No, he doesn't. Ireland, the home of every single pharmaceutical company of the United States, because, I don't know, for reasons.
Maybe 10 times more, but it really doesn't work that way because the world is a bigger place than the U.S., and so you're not going to have to raise it that much, but you have to raise it. And they always said for 50 years, they say, let the United States pay. And for 50 years, the United States got screwed because we're paying so much more. Drug that was selling
for tax reasons, oh yeah. But this is not an Irish accent, my guy. You should Dutch or something. Oh, a political streamer. What's your hottest take?
So $10?
My hottest take is you shouldn't wish death to anybody, even if you disagree with them politically or like personally, or if you like, if for example we were talking about like the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. That's not okay. Nobody should. I think that everybody around politics and in social media should think the same. And if they don't, you shouldn't listen to those people. That's my hot take. If your favorite person that you're following in social media or anywhere can't condemn violence when they see that, or if they're celebrating death, you shouldn't follow them. They're not a good role model, and they're not a good person to listen to. Matthew, Ireland doesn't have a huge immigration issue. I'm an immigrant in Ireland, so. And also, like, it's all blown out of proportions as usual. Oh, well, why don't you look at that? I do have a wife, though, so fanboy is kind of... And it's ironic every time somebody says a fanboy because of my long hair. And then I always like to refer to Ozzy Osbourne, who has long hair. And also Ronnie James Dio, who also has long hair. Even fucking Chris Hemsworth had long hair. But yeah, I don't know if that's a political hot take though. Is that it? No.
In London, $130 a New
Again with your long hair. Well, there's usually at least one person in the chat who comments about the long hair. I like my political hot takes are kind of mild compared to a lot of other political streamers because, well, I'm not that radical either side. I'm not doing blanket statements because that doesn't benefit anyone. Civil War 1918 hardened politics and class relations. Abraham, what are you listing here? Do you think Trump looks like an Oompa Loompa? I mean, if we put it like this, then yeah, I think so. Would you rather marry a Somalian or eat bag full of shit? The resemblance is uncanny. Yeah. I guess he kind of does, though. But you can make anyone look like Oompa Loompa. From what I've seen so far, you seem highly educated. No. I like to read different... I like to read stuff going around the world. Unfortunately, usually when you come to the stream, we talk about news around the world. But because of what's happening in the US for the past few weeks, it's been quite US centric. And I hope after Christmas, because there's things going around in the world as well. So it would be great to go back to those. Ronnie James Dio was Black Sabbath, Ozzy or Michael, as his parents named him. He was fired from Sabbath, and after Ronnie died, he begged Sabbath to take him back. Then he died. What? Ozzy was the original Black Sabbath singer. Then Ozzy got kicked out of Black Sabbath, and they took Ronnie James Dio there. Ozzy went solo. I don't think, Adam Miller, your timeline there is actually accurate. I used to be a huge Black Sabbath fan. Being US-centric is fine. No, because because my interest is not on US politics only. Am I invited to your birthday party? Always. Yeah, Ozzy was fire, asshole. You didn't say that, though. You have seen your leaked photos of president. You have seen your leaked photos of president. Then ignore US politics and engage in them is a choice. Nah, of course we want to talk about the things that are happening at the moment. For example, the photo 468, which is kind of interesting. And I do, US politics, of course, is an important part of world politics, because whatever Mando Mussolini decides, it kind of affects around the world as well. You sound like an oxymoron. Okay, that's fine. I don't need to listen to you. Well, let's talk about file 468. Now that we have so many Americans. Like the Epstein Files. Bill Clinton was all over the files, which was no surprise to anyone, and I reiterate, I think Bill Clinton should be put to trial so we can ask some questions under oath. Bill Clinton's participation in Epstein relations should be studied. I even said Ozzy was fired, you asshole. Read the whole shit, you dumbass. But hey, Adam Miller, your fucking sentence didn't really make any sense, so how about you get the fuck out and learn how to write? I think that's going through the Finland's school system qualifies as highly educated if you just by international rankings. Yeah, probably. Do you support vegans? Yeah, veganism is a choice. It's their choice. And also, I've reduced meat eating quite a lot. I still like to eat meat, though. But I've started eating more and more vegan stuff now that I actually can eat vegan stuff. Moved to Ireland for the weather, not the temperature, the variety. No, I didn't move to Ireland because of the weather. I moved to Ireland because of my kids. So, America is the leader of the world. Let every person know that by keep talking MAGA. What? So, what do you think about the file 468? Beans. Anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about should educate themselves. I think Larry should also read into this quite a lot. This is something, Larry, that could educate you. File 468.com might make a good domain name. I do think so as well. Why Abraham Lincoln? Why are you talking about Finland though? Oh, you found out that I'm Finnish. Oh, that's the reason. So, for a brief moment, the file 468 was in the Epstein Files. And if we go to the Epstein File government page, Epstein Files.gov, so there we go. And if we go to Epstein Files on the government page, and if we go and search from here, it's on the first, that everybody can verify this. This is on the first data set, and it's on the 9th page, I think. No, 10th page. The 10th page of the dataset 1. So if we go to the 10th page of the dataset 1 and try to find 0000468, you can see that there's, I'll zoom in for you guys because somebody might be a bit hard to see. There's 00467. There's 00469. So where the fuck did 468 disappear? You look very, very familiar. Are you famous? Nah. It's still available. No, it might be conspiracy. But it was. This specific photo was in the files. But now it's not. Did you just say 6-7? Come on. Are there more missing pictures? There are a bunch of missing pictures. There is not just this, but this is the one that everybody's now focusing because this was one of the only things that they forgot to redact a lot of on the bottom row. A lot of like faces that you recognize. And that's why a lot of people are focusing on this. And I have to say that it is kind of suspicious that that specific item is missing. Especially because people who downloaded the set yesterday, like myself, we do have the file still. Bye, gotta go. Hey, thanks for dropping by, Carvelis, as always. Did you wish me a happy birthday today? I don't think you did. You just asked me if I'm like, if you're... internet everything's like... You're really easy to manipulate, though, Larry. Like, if you think... That's probably why you listen to Trump and believe his like 600% reduction of pharmaceutical prices. Like, this is something that, again, the DOJ and FBI is breaking the law because they were supposed to release all the files by Friday. They didn't. Okay, they released some of the files, but they also broke the law, the transparency law, which is, well, they were supposed to be redacted except the information regarding the victims and their identity. So I am okay with redacting the faces and names of the victims. Everything else should have been available for us. But they are not doing that. So they are breaking the law, and I hope that Kash Patel and Bam Bondi get fucking indicted and trial. Hey, it's your birthday. No, it's not my birthday. Happy birthday, man. My birthday is in March. But there were like hundreds of files missing from between the files, which is kind of weird, though. Not that they were redacted, they were completely missing. Of course, we are getting more and more files. I think there's now 6 datasets of files. So we're getting more and more files, but that is not what was in the law. Happy birthday. It's not my birthday today. Although I think that Trump's a douchebag and Europe's an adversary, I do believe that he involved in those Epstein files, but not at felony level. Yeah. Well, we do know that Trump and Epstein were friends, and Trump has spent time with Epstein quite a lot, and their shared interests. So, I'm not saying that Trump did anything, but Trump definitely knew Epstein, even though Trump said that he doesn't know Epstein, and also, like, there's a lot of shadiness going around, but we don't have any proof that Trump did anything illegal. There is no possibility of accident in filing or a double picture, then redaction. It has to be conspiracy. I mean, they've had these files for a long time, Larry. I don't know how, like... Let's talk about the fact that the DOJ and FBI has had these files for a long fucking time. And their excuse was that they didn't release them on the deadline, was that they didn't have time to go through this. That is a fact. Fact also was that the file was there yesterday, and today it's not. And that's one of the only ones that had Trump picture. That's also a fact. Okay, Larry, goodbye. I gave you a chance, but I don't need MAGA idiots here who can't listen. That's also a fact. And Larry apparently gets butthurt when his supreme leader is criticized. Also a fact, a lot of there's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of redacted pages, like fully redacted pages, not just the heads. Like fully redacted pages. I understand to redact like faces and such, but when you have 119 pages in a row that are fully redacted, not even a single piece of like page there, just full black squares, that is not like transparency, you know? And that's at least my issue. Because if we want this situation to be solved and the victims to get justice, we need those files to be released. Here's another set. This is just randomly I found. This is 667. Then all of a sudden 569, then 5671, then 573. There's files missing in between these. And my reasoning is that back then he had young kids, boys and girls. Anyone whose father knows that it is impossible to look at kids that way, especially if you're a girl's father. There's a lot of like... I'm not going to say a lot, but there are people who can do that. I'm not saying any of like Trump is that. Trump has done some unhinged shit in his past, but I don't think... I don't have proof that Trump has done anything illegal other than being friends with Jeffrey Epstein and in the flight logs. So I can't say for 100% certain that Trump has done anything. But back to the files. So because these files are missing in between here, they are manually being deleted or not chosen to be released on the same time. So these data sets have been gone through, and these files have been removed in between. Otherwise, the naming of these files would be continuous. This would be 67, that would be 68, 69, 70, 71. But instead, it jumps like that. You know, no one ever want to hold Trump accountable. In 10 years, that has never changed. That is true. We are letting a man put his name on everything without ever being held accountable. Yeah. But that's kind of on the GOP. That's Republicans' fault. They let this happen. I did predict this like early in 2016, that after the elections and I saw what the Republican Party became, that there is never going to be a proper Republican Party anymore. There's only going to be Trump. And I was kind of right. The Republican Party is nothing. If you don't get Trump's support or endorsement, you're not going to go anywhere. If you want to go ahead in your career, you need Trump's support. So there is no Republican Party anymore. There is just Trump. Dop Docket, thanks for the co-popular and hard as always. Hey Ralph Berry, thanks for the 199. Wait for it. Words with a clock as the A. Words with a clock as the A. I don't know what that means. Well, okay, now you're testing my intelligence. I have no idea. Like, I'm trying to decipher what you just wrote there. But I think he's capable of hiding anything he knew about what's going on, but just ignore it. MGG basically said the exact same thing. Yeah.
And now that drug will go up for the other country. And they're going down still further. Look at gasoline. A lot of areas now in our country. $1.99 a gallon.
$1.99 a gallon. Is that true? Would be handy to have that. Hey Ralph, genuinely thanks for the early Christmas present. It would be handy to have that AI fact checker for me, myself, and also for things that we read and watch, you know. For example, that $1.99 claim about the gasolines being $1.99. Is it? Because AI could sleight of hand. Not $1.99 gallon here. Yes, I'm Texas, $1.99 gallon. Okay, should we use... Let's use Elon Musk's True Finder. Where is Croc? Is gasoline $1.99 a gallon in America? Like 3.59 a gallon. No. Okay, he's talking about the average. The average price of gasoline in the United States is not $1.99 per gallon as of December 20th. The national average for regular gasoline is approximately $2.87 per gallon, according to the AAA's daily fuel price data. Prices have been declining through December 25, dropping below $3 for the first time in years early in the month, with average reported around 2.85 to 2.95 in mid-December by sources like GasBuddy and AAA. The lowest state average are in places like Oklahoma, around 2.34 and 2.41, and Texas around 2.5. Is there really any truth in the drug pricing thing he keeps repeating? Europe price subsidized by Americans? No, it's not. However, some individual gas stations, primarily in states like Missouri, Colorado, Oklahoma, and Texas, have been selling regular unleaded for under $2 per gallon. Hey, who said it? Who said under? Yeah, Robbie. So there are private individual gas stations in Texas that sell under $2 per gallon, with reports of price nearing on or hitting $1.99. These are isolated deals, not the norm across America. Overall, while gas is cheaper than it has been in recent years, and $1.99 is not the typical or average price nationwide. Is that per US gallon? Yeah. Well, he likes Texas, though. Yep. Elon Musk. Okay, Jutta, there's partial truth there. But it's also according to, I don't know what sources. There's 69 different sources that Croc is using for this. But the reason why drug companies can charge less in Europe is because they are charging higher in the US. So yeah, there is some accuracies there. Oh, well, no, there's some truth to that. Not 100%. How long have you been live? 45 minutes. He doesn't like California. He doesn't. Should we talk about Brown shooting? We should, right? Because I don't think we're getting anything on the Epstein Files today, unless the Department of Justice and FBI is coming online to tell us what the fuck is going on. And I don't think they are. The DOJ says it has 300 gigabytes of Epstein files. Today it released 2.5. I mean, I guess it's subjective, like how you interpret release all the files. But there was an interesting development when it comes to like the Brown shooting. Get black pages for Epstein files. There's a lot of them. I mean, they could have just redacted. They could have just released every single page like redacted. Help me, I shit all over my toilet seat. Well, you need to A, buy a better toilet seat, or B, I don't know, try to aim a bit better. So they got the suspect for the Brown shooting. And there was some links to the MIT professor being killed as well. But nothing concrete. The suspect in the December 13 mass shooting on the campus of Brown University was found dead by suicide Thursday night in a storage unit in Salem, New Hampshire. Authorities said he has been identified as a 48-year-old Claudio Manuel Neves Valentin, a former Brown grad student. 2 students were killed and 9 were wounded in the shooting. Valentin is also believed to be responsible for the shooting death of the MIT professor who 2 days later in Brooklyn, Massachusetts, federal prosecutors said late Thursday. Which is pretty interesting, to be fair, especially because this was the nuclear scientists that were working on something groundbreaking when it comes to like energy. And it's not the first MIT professor to die who was actually studying like energy solutions that could benefit a lot of people. Not saying that's the reason, but again, it is coincidence. But that's not the newest thing that they decided to do. So they decided to State Department indefinitely pauses diversity visa program after Brown shooting. And this is the thing that is kind of wild. Secretary Rubio has indefinitely paused the issuance of diversity visas until we can be sure we know exactly who we are letting into our country. The issue here is they are completely holding a program that hasn't caused issues based on one individual, which is wild, to be fair. And according to sources, Claudio Manuel Neves Valente hasn't had any issues ever since he got the visa, though. So what does he mean? Until we can be sure we know exactly who we are letting into the country. Because if you come to the country and you don't have any issues in the background, you stay in the country for years, and then you radicalize, like, how can you prevent that? How can you see into the future? Hey, Roxanne, thanks for the sub. Roxana38, thanks for the sub. So how can you predict to the future? How do you know 50k visas per year, 1 rotten apple, and here we go? Exactly. The Diversity Immigrant Visa Program provides about 50,000 immigrant visas a year through a random lottery system to countries with low rates of immigration to the US, according to the USCIS. I've had my name in that lottery pool thanks to my wife for years. I still haven't gotten lucky. There are 5 states that I'm willing to move in the US. It's a different thing. Do I remember them still? Wisconsin, Minnesota, Massachusetts, Colorado. Oh my god, what the fuck was the last one? I think it was Missouri. I think it was Missouri, yeah. I'm gonna lock that in. So Wisconsin, Missouri, Massachusetts, Colorado. And now I fucking forgot the last one. Minnesota. Those are the 5 states that I would be willing to move in the US. Especially Massachusetts and Minnesota. New York, yeah. New York would be fine. I've heard good stories about New York. Massachusetts would be the number 1 place to move, to be fair. Like, if I got to openly choose where I move, I would move to Massachusetts in the United States. Minnesota would be fine too. I would just survive in Minnesota. Like, the weather is kind of similar to Finland. And overall, looks like a really great state. And I don't have issues with immigrants, so doesn't bother me. Colorado, on the other hand, is a bit different. Colorado is a bit more redder when it comes to states, but Colorado has a lot of like progressive laws intact already that kind of goes in line with myself. And Wisconsin and Missouri are just like really good northern states. So I think it was Missouri that has... No, Michigan, not Missouri. Sorry, no, fuck no. Not Missouri. Colorado sucks ass. Nah. Colorado is a beautiful place. And they've, like, there's a lot of good things. And when you're thinking about, like, moving with your family and you have kids that go to school, like, you need to take those into consideration. And that's probably the reason why Massachusetts is so high on the list of, like, states to move into. There are states that I would never move into. For example, Florida, Louisiana, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi. New York, Diddy's background. Oh yeah. I could be the new Diddy. What a fucking horrible things to say. No, I could be the new Trump in New York. I would first need to cut my hair and put that horrible toupee on. Or hair plugs. But there's no, like... There are some horrible states that I would never move. I have a friend in New Mexico that said that I would love New Mexico. I do doubt that. But he said that New Mexico is fine. New Mexico apparently gets a worse rep than it actually deserves. I'm not 100% on that. According to my research, is like Arizona, New Mexico. Fuck that. Not going there. But yeah, definitely no to Alabama and no to all of that. Noam said the suspect shooter Claudio Manuel Neves Valente, a Portuguese national, was issued a green card and entered the US through the program in 2017. The horrific incidents this week demonstrate that threat the diversity visa program poses to American security and safety, which President Trump has long worked to fix. Like, who the fuck in 2017 can predict that Claudio Manuel will do this in 2025? If they have this sort of technology to predict the future, please provide us to the rest of the world. Thank you very much. Would be kind of fine. But making such a drastic decision based on one individual is fucking lunacy and stupidity. Well, to be fair, it's like reacting to a school shooting and taking away all the guns in the US. Of course, they won't do that, but I mean, if we use the same sort of logic they're using here, immediately when there's one car crash somewhere, they ban all cars, so they increase the driver's license age to 30. It's like, that's why you have statistics. That's why you don't do decisions based on few individuals, you know? If majority of the visas are beneficial, so why the fuck would you ban the whole system? Doesn't make sense. There was also info that Reddit helped the FBI find the perpetrator, which is hilarious again. This just shows like how fucking bad Kash Patel is doing his job. Not just this, but the Epstein Files thing as well. If Kash Patel needs help from Reddit, of course that's like, it was circulating in the news, and their Reddit users have already taken like credit for that. I don't know about that, but at least that's something that is circulating at the moment. But FBI really dropped the ball with this one. And I think that's Kash Patel is mistaking transparency with accuracy. He thinks that reporting everything as major and big as Trump does is a good thing for the head of the FBI. Unfortunately, when he comes out and says that the suspect is in custody, like, nobody really continues searching anymore because you're the head of the FBI. And if you do a mistake on that, good luck with that. Then you've already lost time, valuable time. But it's like, it's the clickbait world we live in social media. Like, it's who's first, not who's the right or who's accurate. Nobody cares about the truth. You just need to be first. That's why when I read something, I usually wait for a few moments before like talking about it. Because otherwise I would be hypocritical and driving into that same stuff. It's the same with the Miss Finland debacle in Finland. And that caused a bit of an issue around the world. Also the basic Finn stuff, the Epstein Files, all of that stuff. Like, if you just post to the social media, be first, you will gain a following and you're probably going to make a lot of money. But in the long run, you're just spreading possible misinformation because you don't have time to verify if it's right or wrong. You just throw it out there to the cosmos and you go for engagement. I'm not a huge fan of that. And I'm not a huge fan that political leaders are doing the same thing. They're just clickbaiting at the moment, driving engagement, not caring about if they're right or wrong. But that's been the way everything works probably for a decade now. You know, it's not anymore. It's not about being right. It's being first. I don't think that's healthy, especially for the youth. Because they read stuff from official sources that state something is like this. But where they're reading it from is not caring if it's right or wrong. They just need to be first because, well, you need to pay bills and you have rent to pay, your mortgage, or you need to pay your alimony. Like, there's so many different things. So you need to make money. There's a bunch of people in X Twitter that are doing the same thing. Hodge twins are, for example, one of them. Craig is, of course, I know Craig is another one. Then you have the Karstein brothers. The Karstein brothers are the left-wing version of that, which is they just post anything that's immediately available and try to farm clicks. Then you have your elder millennial in TikTok. They don't care about the truth. Yeah, Brian Karstein and the other one, who was it, Eric Karstein or something like that. They're the same. They don't verify. They don't use the old Russian proverb, which is trust but verify. Big tech oligarch will spend hundreds of millions. You want me to read Bernie Sanders' tweet in Bernie Sanders' voice? I can try. I haven't practiced though. New Mexico sucks too. Yeah, that's what I've heard. But well, except my friend said it's a fucking haven. I should move there. Big tech oligarchs will spend hundreds of millions to defeat the candidates who express concerns about AI and robotics. This is why we need to overturn Citizens United and move public funding to elections. Billionaires cannot... The way he says billionaires, I love Bernie, But the way he says billionaires, just fucking listen to it. Billion. He just overly emphasizes the B in the billionaires. Kind of. Tech moguls to close Trump to see the midterms as a path to long-term power. The millionaires and the billionaires. Oh, fuck, we need Bernie here.
Trump is a demagogue. What does that mean? It means that he is smart enough, and he is nobody's fool, to recognize that people are hurting, all right? That the system is not working.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in the average person and you can't afford to pay your rent or send your kid to college and you're hurting, you want an explanation. Why is that, right? It's kind of natural. You want to, why is the world the way it is? I mean, everybody really searches for an answer. Trump has an answer. And his answer as a demagogue is the answer that demagogues have always given. And that is, you place the blame on powerless minorities, right?
Hey, Razor, thanks for
30s,
follow.
in Germany, it was the Jews were the cause of mass unemployment and so forth and so on. Gypsies. In America, there were problems at our schools. It was the gay people who were the problems. It caused the problems. You know, for many years in this country, you know, if you're a white working class, blame today.
Yeah.
And it works. Going to throw if it's going to improve. Demagogues.
I was looking for the fucking billionaires, but what's going on? Well, I was just looking, reading through the news, trying to get Bernie Sanders to say billionaires.
Right now, think the country is headed in the right direction.
It is a nation today where the billionaire class, the people...
Listen to this.
Where the billionaire class...
Billionaire, So now you know why every time I read billionaires, it's going to be billionaires. I like when Bernie is having speeches because he used the spreading of the arms.
Of ours is moving very rapidly in the direction of oligarchy. The United States of America today is increasingly becoming an oligarchy. More and more moving toward an oligarchy. We are moving in the direction of oligarchy. We will move even more rapidly in the direction of an oligarchy. This great country is evolving into an oligarchic society. It is called oligarchy, and that is the system we are rapidly...
Well, you can't really say that Bernie isn't consistent. He is. U.S. hits ISIS in Syria with large retaliatory strikes, officials say. You are moving towards an olive garden. That's, well, billionaires live in their own world where they believe they have power over others and that everything is allowed for them as if they are special people. Well, yeah, but they do at the same time. The more billions you have, the more billions you're worth. You have your own set of rules, and you don't need to follow the same set of rules that everybody else needs to follow. My older daughter asked a really good question today. Why does somebody like Elon Musk, that is worth hundreds of billions of dollars and has an enormous amount of wealth, why does he want more? And why does he need that amount? That is a really good question. Nobody needs that amount. But he wants. Say something about ISIS, sir. He doesn't. Yeah, true. ISIS is bad. ISIS should be wiped from the earth. There you go. He needs to get to Mars. We can provide a one-way ticket to Mars. Well, billionaires, yeah, we read that already. So yeah, ISIS is bad. There you go. I said something about ISIS. Then I think like ISIS should be wiped from the earth. As a lot of terrorist organizations. Not wiped from the earth because then they would become martyrs and then there would be another terrorist organization formed after that. That's why Palestinians support ISIS. I think a lot of like Muslims that are under stress and also under attack, like Syrians and even like Qatar and Palestine and Jordan, they tend to look towards. They have that fake sense of like hope to look towards a group that is providing them long-term assistance, and they are willing to accept that they are horrible because they don't see any way out. Did that make sense? If you think about it, like if we think about Lebanon, then why did the USA create the ISIS? If you think about like Lebanon and like Palestine and Syria, they have all, unlike Afghanistan, Iraq, they have all been pushed towards Hezbollah, Al-Qaeda, ISIS. Well, if there is a poor pedo, he won't be treated like the rich pedo. This is what we call class discrimination the capitalism seeks. Yeah. Pentagon pizza orders up. We're lightly fucked. But yeah, Razor, I do agree with that. Like, there you can have two persons that have had committed the same crime. If the other one's a billionaire and the other one's any of us who are in the chat, I don't think there's any billionaires here. We are going to be treated differently. You and I are going to get harder sentences than the billionaires. And to be fair, we're probably going to be the ones who are getting sentenced. Iraq just legalized marriage to 9-year-olds. Just now. Did they? Six months ago-ish. Let's see. Child marriage remains a serious issue in Iraq. UNICEF reports 28% of girls marry before 18, often through informal religious ceremonies bypassing courts. The amendments increase religious authorities' role, potentially weakening protection and enabling more such cases, but they do not outright set a legal age at 9. The law has faced challenges, including a brief suspension by Iraq's top court in February 2025, but it was upheld. Proponents argue it aligns with Islamic principles. Opponents say it undermines women and girls' rights. So they gave more power to religion. They gave more power to religion, but it is not set to law. Pentagon pizza orders up with marijuana. Well, like Diddy, for example, most of the major charges against him were almost dropped despite the evidence. Exactly. And also Epstein would have been released if he hadn't been killed. Well, Epstein allegedly killed himself, so... But also Epstein was killed. Like, allegedly Epstein killed himself, but also he was killed. But that's why, like, they decriminalize child marriage, same thing. It's like there's a difference between you saying they didn't, like, saying that Iraq, where did you wrote that? Let me see the. There is different than you saying that Iraq just legalized marriage to 9-year-olds and you saying that they decriminalize child marriage. There is a difference. Well, he killed himself in a high-security prison, and unfortunately the cameras weren't recording. Even the cameras in prison malfunction while there are criminals around, so something wrong there. And also, wasn't the guard sleeping? So there's too many black bars on names. I do agree. The black bars on names were super annoying. But I like Epstein. I don't know. I think he would have gotten out if he didn't mysteriously die. He's in Israel on a beach. They did find some IDF clothing from the Epstein estate, though. Trump is on the original list. Trump is still on the list, though. I'm not saying that means anything. I'm just stating what was in the files. And they did find some Israeli army clothing. That doesn't mean anything. That is just stating what's in the files. Just like I'm stating that Chris Tucker was in the files, Michael Jackson was in the files. They also found some New York police uniforms in the files. But just stating that was a case. Of course, there are conspiracy theories that want to push the narrative forwards, which is like that there's some link between Epstein and Israel. But I don't have enough any evidence to push that theory onwards. We are talking about a person who almost has scandals on most people in power. So why do I think he killed himself when he wanted to get out of prison as he... Exactly. Exactly. Hey, thanks for the zap, Age of Crocodilla. I do agree. He put himself in a really powerful position. People used his influence and his power. Because we can see from the files itself that Epstein was really well like networked. So if you see Israeli uniforms, Israel is likely involved. I didn't say that. As I said, I'm not like there are people who are pulling these like connecting the dots because they're like just because you have a jumper and you have a uniform from the IDF doesn't mean that you're part of the IDF or you have anything to do with IDF itself, you know? But that is something that was in there. I'm saying it. Israel destroyed most of the military uniforms. Okay. But I do love a good conspiracy theory, though. Compare language of the Epstein Files Transparency Act directing DOJ to provide internal communications regarding their decisions versus DOJ letter to Congress asserting privilege to omit materials related to decisions because they weren't specified by law. He networked his way to money and power, great skill really, only if he would have used it for good instead. I mean, I'm a big-time military surplus collector. Israeli uniforms are impossible to get. I don't know that. I don't collect military uniforms, so I need to take your word for it. While Trump has been his friend for years, it would be foolish for someone to say that Trump is innocent and that he knows nothing about it. He might not be involved, which is true, but the fact that he knows nothing is yeah, like, okay, I don't have a cat, but let's lift the cat to the table and address the elephant in the room. Oh, I'm using too many metaphors, but Trump has known Epstein for decades. Fact number one. Fact number two, we have seen videos and pictures of Trump with Epstein. That is fact. Also fact, Trump did kick out Epstein from Mar-a-Lago. Decades later, though. That is also a fact. Facts are, Trump is in the flight logs. And also the files. That is also a fact. Do we have proof that Trump has ever done anything malicious or criminating? No, we don't. We actually have proof that the victim said that Trump has never done anything, well, and was actually a gentleman towards them. So that's kind of proving the point that Trump necessarily didn't do anything criminal, but he was a friend of Epstein. And Trump saying that he doesn't know who Epstein is, or Epstein was just a nobody who was hanging around with everybody in Florida. That's a lie. Also, Trump lying that the Epstein Files doesn't exist. The Epstein Files are a Democratic hoax. The Epstein Files were made by Obama. All of those are lies. Why he did this, I have no fucking idea. He said in a previous interview that Epstein was a great guy, and do we think he didn't know? Bill Clinton's getting into the news over getting a blowjob twice in my life is fucking wild. But the real question is, who did it better? Monica Lewinsky or Donald Trump? We need to have Bill Clinton put to trial under oath so we can ask the important questions. The important questions, of course, would be, what is your relations with Maxwell? What is your relations with Epstein? What is your relations with these victims that we see you with pictures? And also the last final, the most important question, who blew you better, Monica Lewinsky or Donald Trump? My name is also Epstein Files. Hello, bro. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, King Carl. I found out that in Ireland, they don't say Merry Christmas. Well, I knew this already. Like, that was one of the first things we figured out when we moved here, like the first Christmas, because we were, of course, saying to everyone Merry Christmas, and when they replied back to us, we were kind of weirded out. I lost my composure laughing at that. Is it Happy Christmas, like in England? Yes, it is Happy Christmas. And I was super weirded out. It sounds so fucking wrong. The Synth fan streams, that is exactly what they say here. Happy Christmas. I don't know why, but that sounds so wrong. Still, after 3 years, I still haven't gotten used to it. I still say it as like a reflex, like Merry Christmas. Well, Trump said he no longer associates with Epstein, but there is confirmation that he met with him several times after that statement. So there are two possibilities. Either he is involved and wants to deflect suspicion, or he knows but is keeping quiet about it. Yeah. I'm still weirded out that everybody, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and Trump, everybody said that the Epstein Files don't exist. And then all of a sudden they existed. What the fuck was that about? Some say that it's four-dimensional chess, that they're just trying to lure the Democrats in, but I think they're the government, so they're probably hiding. I've spent 2 months in Ireland traveling around to lots of different counties, but wasn't there for Christmas. Looking up St. Orange Man to the slammer with the rest of them. I do agree with that, though. It's not just that. There's other charges we could also put Trump on.
Healthcare is a human right. Education is a human right. Affordable housing is a human right. The billionaires who own that media have an agenda. It's enormous power in the hands of a few people. The status quo is working very, very well for the people on top, while the middle class continues to shrink and working people in America are really struggling. What we have got to do is take on the incredible excesses and greed that
Trump said he would reveal it during his campaign rally and didn't think people would pressure him because it involves the names of big figures. I think Trump promised a lot of things on, like, one of the favorite things Trump says is always that he has a plan. Whatever you ask, this is only if you watch like Trump's interviews or Trump's like announcement. Whatever you ask about Trump, if you ask any topic about like Trump, you can see that he's clearly winging it and saying that he has a plan, even though he has no fucking idea what's being discussed. And he says he doesn't say no to anything. It's always that we have a great plan, we have the greatest plan. And a good example of this is healthcare. The 2 weeks have gone already for 9 years. Job market is so fucked. I don't think that orange R-word has plans. True. What up, Kilokolo? Trump just banned taxes on tips and overtime. Yes, all American presidents make false promises during the election campaign. I don't know when people will learn not to believe them. True. But like, the healthcare thing is one of the funniest things ever. In 2 weeks, I will reveal my healthcare plan. He said 2 weeks ever since 2016. And there's still no healthcare plan. And now his healthcare plan is fuck healthcare. Trump just banned taxes on tips and overtime. If only the waiters didn't need to work, wouldn't need to take tips to make a living. Wouldn't that be nice, though? And also that people wouldn't need to work overtime. Like forcefully overtime. Wouldn't that be nice? Trump banned men from competing in women's sports. Men aren't allowed to. Trans women are. That's a difference. Cool, whoop-de-fucking-do. Doesn't matter if jobs aren't available. Waiters get the normal wage until tips reach a certain amount. Why don't they get normal wages altogether? Well, what healthcare are we talking about? They will throw you in the street if you don't pay, even if your condition is serious. Yeah, that's the plan. That's the healthcare plan that he has. You don't have money? I mean, then we don't care about you and you can die. That's the healthcare plan of Trump. We will take extra tax dollars from U.S. companies importing stuff from outside of U.S. and also the consumers to provide you. So we're just generating more taxes. They just changed the name to tariffs, even though it is a tax on imports. Oh, I absolutely love Ireland. Been 3 separate times, once for 2 months continuously. Gorgeous country and super hospitable. Oh yeah, Ireland is really nice. I feel bad for the waiters in the US. Like, there should never be... they should get the tips as well as the salary. Not needed to be depending on each other.
Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, are you considering...
The world has taxes on US goods. True, that is true. The US has also had tariffs on imported goods. So what's your point? It goes both ways. Lower than everyone. Who pay? Okay, okay. This is my favorite topic. Gradual decay. Who pays tariffs? Oh my god, this is the most... Every time there's one person in YouTube chat who can't answer this question. Let's see if you can do that. Who pays tariffs? Even the grave and honoring the dead have become a business. They will pay for the grave and also for the shrouds. Society will continue to burn the bodies of their loved ones because they cannot afford those ridiculous costs. True that. More specific, who pays tariffs? That is kind of... If a company in the United States imports stuff from China, if a company buys stuff from China, who pays tariffs? Who do I support, Democrats or Republicans? Neither. I think both parties have more flaws than good things. Unfortunately, there is no alternative in the United States, and I'm really happy that I don't need to pick from both of them. We're talking about the tariffs that Trump put in. Trump puts 100% tariff on China. That goes for imports only, not exports. No, Jutta, don't say that. Trump can do what the fuck they want. But yeah, you asked which do I support, Democrats or Republicans? I think I am privileged that I don't need to choose between those, because the parties dictate what the policies of the parties are. So in Republicans, Trump dictates what Republican candidates need to say and do. And Democratic has that little bit, that shadow council in the background that making the decisions. Of course, they'll justify it by saying it's for American people while they are the ones destroying the society for money. Me too. You're reflecting and you're dodging gradual decay. The reason why Trump needed to bail the farmers was that Trump put tariffs on China, and China decided to stop buying soybeans from the farmers in the US. So Trump bailed them again. That was the second time that happened with Trump. The other time was 2018. Also, if tariffs are so fucking good, why did Trump remove the tariffs from coffee? Well, it's because coffee prices went up because of the tariffs, because the United States doesn't produce coffee. So all the coffee are imported. So why did they need to remove the tariffs from coffee? His tariffs worked. No, it didn't. I just paid the tariffs on my container. People are so confused. We're not they paid the tariff. What? I just paid the tariff on my container. I'm extremely proud, gone then otherwise leaning more politically with the Democrats. There are good candidates on both parties. There are good candidates on... Yeah, tariffs brought, what, 200 billion? Not trillions. I think it's a good thing. Like, let's talk about what they are. Let's start using the correct term. Let's start using import taxes. So the import taxes work. And it's been a proven concept for years that import taxes do work. So taxes are a good thing, right? Gradual decay. Because now that you're saying that taxes work. But I know the T word is a bit of a hot topic. Trump gives farmers 12 billion to farmers from tariffs. They are taxes, though. You do know that. The tariffs are taxes. They are taxes, though. You tax on import goods. They are dragging you into becoming someone who follows one of their parties while you have your own opinion and don't want to be with the partisans. Arabic, English, US formality. Trump has gone crazy. He even put a tariff on a penguin island. Yeah, like... I don't keep them separate because I live in reality. The only people who separate tariffs from taxes are people who live in Delulu land, because they are the same thing. Tariffs are taxes on import, whether you like it or not. And you said something about the farmers. Where the fuck was it? Trump gives farmers 12 billion to farmers from tariffs. Trump's tariffs are the reason why the farmers were suffering. So Trump bailed the farmers with 12 billion because of his own tariffs. From dictionary, tariff, a tax on or duty to be paid on particular class of imports or exports. These tariffs and taxations without representation. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest here. Trump hasn't the tariffs haven't brought $18 trillion to the US in 10 months. That is a lie. The real number is closer to hundreds of billions, which is okay. Like hundreds of billions in tariffs, that is really good. But it's not trillions. Taxes are good. Yeah, imports and export taxes. Well, taxes are good for developing community services, but America taxes don't do that because we don't have a good healthcare system, no security without carrying a weapon, and a fragmented society that supports individualism. Taxes on individuals, keep them separate. No, taxes are not only for individuals. What the fuck? You do know that companies pay taxes, collective taxes, their state taxes. They're not just individuals, you know. Companies pay a lot of different taxes. Tariffs are one of the taxes. Sales taxes, true. No. You just don't understand. You take your knowledge of tariffs from Trump. That's why the whole fucking world is laughing at Trump when he's talking about tariffs and people believing that tariffs are somehow different from taxes. What are you gonna do about it, crybabies? Nothing, like, no. We found some Russian bots in the YouTube chat. Georgia is pretty much funded by Coca-Cola and a few other tax-wise. Tariffs are... Oh my fucking god, hey. Learn... Do I need to repeat what Jutta told? Tariffs is a tax or duty to be paid on a particular class of imports and exports. So tariff is a form of tax. Do you pay sales taxes from your salary? Do you pay whatever? Pick another tax. Do you pay VAT from your salary? Until things that are supposed to be normal in any society become rare, and there are not always people like this. What do tariffs refer to? Oh my fucking god, okay. That's it. I tried. Sorry about fighting with that specific person for so long. Some people are just... They just don't get it. For those who are still wondering, I lost my cool at the end. I mean, anyone who's done international business to the US or from US knows that tariffs, VAT, import taxes are all a part of it. So if I buy something from the United States to Finland, I need to pay import taxes. I need to pay a tariff on that. Or depends on the goods. There are some deals between the United States that there are no import taxes. I've never sold or worked with those, but I presume there are some of those. The same thing if I'm in the United States and I buy from something from somewhere, I bring that good there that is produced somewhere else. I need to pay import taxes as a company or as an entrepreneur of that product. It is not rocket science. That's why you need education. People genuinely don't understand taxation beyond income tax. If tariffs are bad for the importer, then why do other countries have tariffs on US goods? Regulation, control, also money. There's a lot of reasons why you have tariffs on other countries. To make money for the government, to collect taxes. Yeah. Well, tariffs are really disgusting. The prices of things have become absurd and exorbitant for no reason. That's why it's foolish to impose something that doesn't benefit anyone, not even American itself, and the American people are suffering from it. True. Others are just hiding the real reason. Well, to be fair, like, majority of the things that are produced in the United States and, like, the US companies want to export to Europe, we could just have them without tariffs because they wouldn't get to the shelves in stores because a lot of them are, like, not meeting the EU regulation when it comes to product safety and, well, consumer safety. So there are reasons why Trump has tariffs to make the US money, but it's not working. It might be if Trump actually, like, Trump is not using tariffs to create, well, he is to create money. He's kind of using it as extortion method, and that's not like deal making. Oh yeah, US processed food is not food. I do agree, and that's one thing that I hope that, because RFK Jr. had big words when he became the leader of Make America Health Again, that he's gonna tackle and reduce the amount of, like, additives and artificial ingredients in US products. And I hope that's a thing, because I do agree that's one rare thing. And that's a W if they do that, because the processed food in America is so fucking unhealthy. I might understand the reason and fear of China, but imposing tariffs on the whole world, well, if you make things difficult for them, they will trade with other countries, and in the end, you will be harmed by that. Yeah, for example, but then, okay, it's an endless loop. For example, when India started increasing their trade with Russia and China, then Trump got mad about it and imposed more tariffs on India, but that doesn't really do anything because India already, like, said that they don't really fucking care because they're just gonna take their trade elsewhere. I was surprised that Apple announced that they're gonna transfer their factories to India, even though Trump threatened them that if you do this, we're gonna impose tariffs on Apple products, which is... Okay, I'm completely pro tariffs. It's a good way to level the playing field between import and homemade. It's also a good way to sway the consumption to the right direction. However, the right direction depends on the people setting it, and it can go wrong. Case coffee. Case in point, coffee. Who the fuck wants to pay $10 per coffee? A package of coffee. Nobody. But again, US doesn't produce coffee. So that's kind of bad. Breaking ban on this Department of Justice currently has no plans to arrest Bill Clinton. I mean, they don't really have a smoking gun with Bill Clinton, right? Piers Morgan. Memo to the Trump administration. The longer you drag out Epstein Files and the more of it you will heavily redact, the worse this scandal will get. They should just release everything. You know? Okay, let's admit that this won't be beneficial in the long run. Labor in China is cheaper, and that's why companies are turning to them. The reason Chinese labor is cheap is not because of the materials, but because there is a self-sufficiency of workers, 100%. And also, the workers don't really have rights there. When you yield tariffs like a weapon, you just disrupt the economy. Yeah, but that's the art of the deal, right? Somebody says something bad about... This is like the modern way of handling economy. If somebody says something bad about you, you impose tariffs on them. On things that they don't really depend on, like exporting to the US. but still, because you need to show that you're strong and you can't be made of fun of. So impose tariffs because you don't know any better. Okie dokie. That's enough. All right, we're gonna end it here. Keep it short, sweet. There's no proper like updates going on at the moment because everybody's just waiting for the DOJ and FBI to come online and at least say something. But as of now, we haven't got any updates on those. We had a good conversation today. We had a few brain farts throughout the stream, but I think we had a generally good stream today. Hopefully tomorrow we can talk something else about like what's going on around the world and not just focus on US politics. But then again, it's always a good sign that there isn't that many bad things happening around the world. Hey, thanks, Razor, for keeping me company, and everybody in YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. We had some good conversations. Have a great rest of the night. If you want to learn something about Gen Z uprisings, somebody could link that YouTube video in all of the chats. That would be handy. I can also do that if I'm smart enough. There you go. Jutta the MVP. So if you want to learn about the Gen Z uprisings happening around the world in Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Madagascar, Nepal, Peru, Bulgaria. What am I missing? East Timor. Quite a lot of countries. Go check that video if you're interested in. I think there's a lot of good things happening around the world as well. Even though there's a lot of bad things happening in the world. But slowly but surely we're fighting corruption. And hopefully at some point we can get rid of it in a lot of, especially in those poorer countries. Thanks for participating in my TED Talk. Have a great rest of the day. We'll see you guys tomorrow.